why did the deputy governor of CBN request specifically that Tokunbo should drive the child to Seme border? What exactly was happening there? Who was waiting there? Who was waiting to receive the child? The answer is nobody. There was no plan, actually. When you think about it, you realize that this film was built around nothing. Now that we have all seen the film Tokunbo, at least I'm assuming that we have all seen it, I just want us to have a very honest conversation. Can we all agree that it's actually not worth the hype? Like, it's not worth all these things I'm seeing online. Because Tokunbo will only impress those who find the least bit of intrigue enticing, or those who are easily captivated by even the slightest element of mystery. However, for people who value depth and complexity in storytelling, this film falls disappointingly short. Welcome to Nigerian Movie Reviews, and today we're talking about the film Tokunbo. In this review, I am going to talk about what I liked about this film. I'm going to tell you everything that I did not like about this film. I'm going to point out issues that you most likely did not even notice. At the end of this review, I'm going to rate this film on a scale of 1 to 10. So if you have seen this film, I really would like to hear your thoughts. I want to know if you agree with me or if you disagree. Please drop a comment in the comment section and let me know. But if you have still not seen this film and you're trying to decide if it's worth your while or not, well, you are in the right place. This film follows the story of Tokunbo, a car smuggler. After the birth of his son, he decides to leave his dangerous life of delivering illegal cars behind, and he becomes a taxi driver. Unfortunately for him, his son falls sick 18 months later, so he is forced to go back to his life of illegal deliveries in order to raise money for his son's surgery. Things become very dangerous when his next delivery turns out to be a child named Nike. Nike is also the daughter of the central bank governor of Nigeria. This story sounds like something that could make a gripping thriller, right? However, in the hands of the director Ramsey Noah, what we got was a lot more underwhelming. So, what did I like about this film? Cinematography was really good. It was impressive, actually. They had this dark theme going for them, and it really worked. So I liked that. I liked the soundtrack, especially Gaza by Olamide. They used it in some of the scenes, and I thought it was a very nice touch. Apart from those two things, I did not particularly like this film. What were the issues? Number one, acting and casting did not work for me. I must acknowledge that Gideon Okeke gave a committed performance as Tokunbo. He carried this film. In fact, if not for him, we might have dozed off, but still, it wasn't enough. There was just something missing. I believe that with a better director, it would actually have been an amazing performance. But what we got, it was just okay. Funlola Aofiyebi, Chidi Mokeme. I'm tired of seeing the both of them act the same roles all the time. Like, I'm done. Nollywood should either find different roles that they can play or work with them to be able to bring different nuances into similar roles. But for now, it did not work for me, right? Darasimi is a sharp girl. She's a sharp girl. But the truth of the matter is that she's growing. Having a smart mouth is no longer going to be enough. She actually has to put in the work. What we saw in this film, it was just there. It was not great acting in my opinion. I'm sorry, she's a child, but the truth is the truth. It was just there. So apart from the acting, I did not like the characters. I didn't feel like they were fresh. I didn't feel like they were original. It felt like I was seeing elements of different characters that I had seen in other Nollywood films. For instance, Darasimi, who played Nike. Nike was giving me Ihunaya from Obaram. Folashade, the CBN governor, was giving me Mrs. Lawal vibes from House of Secrets, or Dr. Amara from Criminal. Gaza was giving me Scar from Shantytown. So it felt like they just copied like bits and pieces from different films. But yeah, the characters, they were not fresh at all. The next issue I had with this film, which is the biggest one, was his storytelling. It was not as engaging as it needed to be. The dialogue was very poor. Like, the scenes were not exciting. You know, when you're watching a thriller and you are invested and there's this suspense and you are waiting to see what will happen. But it was just very bland. You know, the scenes that should have made this film very solid, they didn't do anything for this scene, for this film. For instance, the scene where Folashade met with the stakeholders. Oh my god, they sounded like a joke. I don't even know what they were doing at that table, all of them. It was a very bad scene, right? When I say that I did not like the storytelling, I mean that the stakes in this film, they were too low. Canceling a press conference in exchange for your daughter's life, how is that a big deal? Like, I did not see the issue. And I did not see the reason why Folashade was refusing to cancel the press conference. Because if we think about it, that eventually the press conference did not even happen. Like, nobody said anything about it. Nobody asked about it. Like, the way they just went silent about it, it was obvious that they did not even plan for any press conference to happen. We didn't see any setup for any press conference, did we? We didn't see journalists coming together to wait for this press conference. So there was no press conference, if we're being honest. It didn't make any sense to me. When I say that I didn't like the storytelling, when I say it was not compelling, I mean that anybody with common sense could tell immediately that Aziba, the assistant, was part of the kidnapping. After the phone call with Raymond, it was obvious that it was the villain. Right? I'm not even sure what they were trying to achieve by showing us his back view. And I did not understand that his setup. He was sitting down in one random casual room with his back, modulating his voice up and down like low budget Big Brother. It was not giving the air of mystery that they thought they were trying to achieve, right? And even when they eventually revealed his face, I don't think anybody was shocked. It was just like, duh. So, you know that some action films can sometimes overcome most problems with storytelling if the action sequences are good. That was another issue I had with this film. They conveniently left any serious action until the very end, which was the fight that happened between Tokunbo and Gaza. But we are all on the same page when I say that the execution was poor, right? Like, even with the rain and everything, it was not given. Like, it was not given. Another issue I had with this film was the fact that they did not pay attention to details. For instance, for this film, they used phones a lot to communicate most of the important details. So you would expect that they will pay attention to the things that are being displayed on the phones, right? So let me give you a good example. According to the time when Tokunbo found that phone in his backseat, the time on the phone showed that it was 14:53 on the 26th of November 2022. But you know that when he got the message for the second delivery, the time had changed. It had changed to 1 p.m. That's 1300 on the 28th of November 2022. Then he received a new message about where to drop the second delivery. The time had changed again. It was 12:53 p.m. on the 28th of November 2022. By the time he received the message to deliver Nike to Semeboda, the time and the date had changed. It was now 16:56 p.m. on the 3rd of December 2022. Haba. Don't forget that this is supposed to be a thriller. We're supposed to be counting down to 7 p.m., which was the deadline that the villain gave, right? How are we supposed to follow up when we don't even know the time or the day? Like, it was just so irritating, because how am I supposed to take you seriously when you cannot even pay attention to something so basic, right? As I round up this review, I want to mention that while I was watching this film, I had so many questions. Why was the deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, why was he the one following up with a kidnapper by himself? Like, Majid was the deputy governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and for some reason he decided to kidnap the daughter of his boss. Why was he the one calling the kidnapper? Why was he the one giving the kidnapper instructions? He could have paid somebody. What was Gaza's job? Right? Why did they bring Tokunbo's wife and son to the same building where Raymond, the deputy CBN governor, was hiding? Why did they not give us a deeper dive into his motive? I know they showed us that scene where he was talking to one white man that could not even act or do anything to save his life, right? But it would have been nice if they gave us like a deeper dive into his motive. What was that mediocre police investigation? I thought we had moved beyond watching scenes where the police will say, oh, we are trying to trace the call. Calls that never lead anywhere. Like, this is 2024. Another question I had was, how did Tokunbo drive past the second police checkpoint? Like, did they not see the child that was sleeping in his car? Why was Norbert Young's uniform so tight? Oh my God. I was distracted. I kept on wondering, what is going on? Another question is, who actually dropped the phone in Tokunbo's car? I know they wanted us to believe that it was from Gaza, right? But who exactly did Gaza send? Because when Tokunbo left Gaza's place, Gaza was still on the phone. So when? Who did he send? Right? When did they put the tracker on Tokunbo's car? Who put it there? Did you also notice that when Tokunbo saw the phone, he just picked it and started reading the messages immediately? Like, no hesitation, no wonder, no confusion. He just picked the phone like he was waiting for it and he just continued. Who does that in a normal world? It did not make any sense. Another question. Was Nike actually drugged? Because they wanted us to believe that she was injected back to back for hours. Aside from the fact that she woke up faster than the hour that they already told us, I was surprised by the fact that when she woke up every single time, she was alert, she was full of strength, with her sharp mouth and wits intact. And I was like, did they drug this child? Another question. How did they survive the fall in the water? In that kind of water. I know they want us to believe that Nike is a good swimmer, yes, but still, she's a child stuck in a vehicle underwater. So do they expect us to believe that Tokunbo was able to hold her and they both stayed underwater until it was dark and somehow they both survived? Haba. In the scene where Raymond was arrested, why exactly did Folashade shout, Nike? Nike is alive. Did somebody whisper to her? Did she get a revelation? What happened? I was confused. See, about that scene, do you know that that scene was so underwhelming? Like, when they arrested Raymond, it was just like, there. I'm like, so this is the big event that we were waiting for. So ridiculous. Then, I think my final question, because when I thought it could not get worse, then they surprised me with the final scene. What do you mean Tokunbo became Nike's driver? How? If his son had not died, this guy would have kidnapped her and delivered her in exchange for money. So how exactly did he become her driver? If I will rate this film, I'll rate it a 3.5 over 10. Because overall, it was a terrible watch for me. For an action thriller, it failed to generate any excitement. And all its issues were just impossible for me to ignore. I hope with these few points of mine, I've been able to convince you that Tokunbo the film is not worth the hype. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.